Think Faster, Talk Smarter. Book, Think Faster, Talk Smarter. Matt Abrahams, Stanford GSB professor. You're in a meeting and suddenly your boss turns to you and asks, "What do you think about this?" And your mind just goes blank. Your heart starts racing, your palms get sweaty, and all you manage to say is, uh, good question. Let me get back to you. Everyone's staring, and you wish the ground would just swallow you whole. If this has ever happened to you, in an interview, a meeting, or even at a party, when someone asks you something out of nowhere, this video is for you. Today we're talking about Matt Abraham's book, Think Faster, Talk Smarter. He's a communication professor at Stanford's Graduate School of Business, and he wrote this book for people who are smart, who have great ideas, but freeze up the moment they have to speak on the spot. In the next few minutes, we'll break down the core of this entire book, real practical techniques you can start using today. Let's get into it. Section 1. The real problem. First, let's understand what the actual problem is. Matt Abrahams says most of us are actually pretty good at prepared speaking. Write a presentation, rehearse it, and deliver it on stage. There's comfort in that. But the real challenge is spontaneous speaking. When you have to talk without any warning, like being asked for your opinion out of nowhere in a meeting. A tricky, unexpected question in a job interview, small talk at a networking event, an awkward question at a family gathering, unmuting on a video call and speaking without full context. According to the author, in these spontaneous moments, our brain is fighting two things: anxiety and lack of structure. When anxiety kicks in, the part of the brain responsible for logical thinking, the prefrontal cortex, essentially goes offline. It gets replaced by a fight or flight response. That's why when we're nervous, we say, more often, or just freeze completely. This isn't a character flaw, it's biology. It happens to everyone, whether you're a CEO or a fresh graduate. The good news, according to Abrahams, is that spontaneous speaking is a skill, not a talent, and any skill improves with practice. So in this video, we'll cover three big parts. First, how to manage your anxiety. Second, structures to organize your thoughts quickly. Third, how to apply all this in real situations. Meetings, interviews, Q&As. Let's start with anxiety. Section 2. Managing the anxiety. Whenever we have to speak spontaneously, the first obstacle is nervousness. And without managing that nervousness, no technique will work. Matt Abrahams makes an interesting point here. He says don't try to eliminate your anxiety, because that's simply not possible. Instead, manage it. Technique 1. Reframe your anxiety. When our body feels anxious, heart racing, hands slightly shaking, these are the exact same physical sensations we feel when we're excited. The author suggests that whenever you feel this way, tell yourself, "I'm not nervous, I'm excited." It sounds simple, but research shows that when we reframe a feeling from anxiety to excitement, our performance actually improves, because both emotions have the same physical response. Only the label is different, and that label changes how our brain responds. Technique 2. Focus on others, not yourself. When we speak, our attention is usually on, what will people think of me? Am I saying this right? This self-focus actually increases anxiety. Abraham suggests shifting your focus to the audience. Stop thinking about your own performance and start thinking, how can I help this person? What do they need to understand? When the focus shifts from you to the other person, anxiety naturally drops, because now you're not being judged, you're contributing. Technique 3. Deep breathing. But the right way. Everyone knows, take a deep breath and calm down. But the author gives a specific technique called the physiological sigh. You take 2 short inhales through your nose, one right after the other, then one long exhale through your mouth. This technique quickly calms the nervous system because it naturally signals to the body, everything's okay, relax. Next time you feel nervous before a meeting starts, 2 quick inhales, 1 long exhale. It takes 10 seconds and it makes a real difference. Technique 4. Accept imperfection. Another mindset shift Abraham suggests: let go of the pressure to speak perfectly. People aren't counting every filler word you say. They want to understand your message, not judge your performance as closely as you think they are. This is called the spotlight effect. We assume others are observing us as closely as we observe ourselves. In reality, people are usually caught up in their own thoughts. Now that we've covered managing anxiety, let's look at how to organize your thoughts so that when you speak, it feels structured instead of random. Section 3. Structures to organize your thoughts. This is the most practical part of the book. Matt Abraham says that when we have to speak unexpectedly, our brain looks for a structure to hold on to. Without structure, we either ramble or go completely blank. Let's look at a few powerful structures you can use immediately. Structure 1. What? So, what? Now, what? This is the most versatile structure in the entire book. Answer any question in 3 parts. What? State the fact or observation. Our sales dropped 10% last quarter. So, what? What does this mean? What's the impact? This means our current strategy isn't working, especially in the new market. Now, what? What should happen next? My suggestion is we review our pricing strategy and gather customer feedback. This structure works in any meeting for any update. It gives your brain a clear path. You can flow through these 3 steps almost without thinking. Structure 2. Prep. Another simple framework. P. Point. State your main point. R. Reason. Give the reason. E. Example. Give an example or evidence. P. Point. Close by repeating your point. For example, if someone asks, "Is remote work better than working from the office?" I think a hybrid model is best. Point. Because it gives you both flexibility and collaboration. Reason. For instance, when our team comes into the office 2 days a week, their creative output goes up, but the rest of the week allows for focused, deep work. Example. That's why I'd recommend a hybrid model. Point. This structure is especially useful when someone asks for your opinion. Structure 3. The rule of 3. The human brain remembers things in 3s easily, not 2, not 4. Whenever you need to explain something, sort your thoughts into 3 buckets. This product has 3 main benefits: speed, simplicity, and affordability. This structure instantly makes your answer sound organized and confident, even if you hadn't planned it beforehand. Structure 4. Problem-solution benefit. If a challenge is being discussed, problem, what's the issue? Solution, what should be done? Benefit, what good will come of it? This is especially useful in business meetings and interviews. Handling difficult or unexpected questions. The author shares an important tactic for tricky or unexpected questions. He calls it "take the time you need." You don't have to answer instantly. A short pause or saying, "That's an interesting question, let me think about that for a second," is completely normal. It makes you look thoughtful, not panicked. Another tactic is to paraphrase the question first. Something like, "So you're asking whether our timeline is realistic?" This buys you an extra 3 to 4 seconds to think, and also confirms you understood the question correctly. And if you genuinely don't know the answer, say so honestly. "I don't have that specific data right now, but I'll follow up with you." That's far better than guessing wrong. Avoiding filler words. Filler words like, actually, you can't eliminate them completely, and you don't need to. But the author suggests, whenever you feel the urge to say a filler word, replace it with a pause instead. Silence sounds confident. Filler words sound nervous. Section 4. Applying this in real life. Now let's look at how these techniques apply in real situations. In job interviews. When a behavioral question comes up, like "tell me about a time you handled a conflict," use the STAR method, which works similarly to prep. Situation. Give the context task. What was the responsibility? Action. What did you do? Result. What was the outcome? And if the question is completely unexpected, like if you were a fruit, which one would you be? Don't panic. Take a deep breath, smile a little, and use what, so what, now what, or simple reasoning to give a genuine, thoughtful answer. Interviewers often care more about how you think under pressure than the answer itself. In meetings, when you're suddenly asked for an update or opinion, use the what, so what, now what structure. It keeps you from rambling and gives you a clear, professional answer right away. If you don't know the answer, say so honestly and commit to following up. This builds credibility instead of breaking it. In networking or small talk here, curiosity is your best tool. Ask the other person questions. Show genuine interest in what they're saying. When the focus shifts away from you to the other person, your own anxiety naturally decreases and the conversation flows more easily. In Q&A sessions or presentations, when the audience asks something you didn't expect, paraphrase it first, then use what, so what, now what, or PREP to structure your response. And if the question feels off topic, politely bridge it back to your main message and something like, "That's a great point, and it connects to what I mentioned earlier about." Section 5. Building the habit. Matt Abrahams repeatedly emphasizes one thing. These techniques come from practice, not overnight change. Here are a few simple daily practices suggested in the book. 1. Daily improv practice. Every day speak for 2 minutes on a random topic without any preparation. Set a timer on your phone, record yourself, then listen back. This trains your brain for spontaneous thinking. 2. The elevator pitch habit. Practice explaining any topic in 30 seconds. This teaches you to think concisely and in a structured way. 3. Record and review. Record yourself speaking in a meeting or during practice, and listen back later. Notice the filler words, the pauses, the structure. It feels awkward at first, but this is where the fastest improvement comes from. 4. Embrace small discomforts. Deliberately put yourself in small, spontaneous speaking situations, like volunteering your opinion in a meeting or starting a conversation with a stranger. The more you practice, the more comfortable it feels. The author's main message is this: being perfect isn't the goal of spontaneous speaking. The goal is to be confident and clear, whether or not every word comes out perfectly. Section 6. Common mistakes people make. Before we move on, let's talk about a few mistakes Matt Abrahams says most people make when speaking spontaneously, because avoiding these can instantly make you sound sharper. Mistake 1. Trying to say everything. When we're nervous, we tend to overload our answer with every possible detail, hoping something will land. This actually makes you sound less confident, not more. The author's advice: pick one clear point and build around it. A focused answer always beats a scattered one. Mistake 2. Apologizing before you even start. Saying things like, "Sorry, this might not make sense, but," or "I'm not sure if this is right, but," immediately lowers how people perceive your answer, even before you've said anything of substance. Just say what you have to say. Let your answer speak for itself. Mistake 3. Racing to fill silence. The moment there's a pause, most people panic and start talking just to avoid the silence. But a 2 or 3 second pause before answering doesn't feel long to the listener. It feels thoughtful. Racing to fill it usually leads to rambling. Mistake 4. Answering the question you wish was asked. Sometimes, out of nervousness, people answer a question they've prepared for instead of the one actually asked. This is why paraphrasing the question first is so important. It keeps you anchored to what's actually being asked. Mistake 5. Ending on a weak note. Many people build a good answer but then trail off with something like, "So yeah, that's kind of it, I guess." This undoes all the credibility you just built. Abraham suggests ending with a clear, confident closing line, even something as simple as restating your main point. Section 7. Reading the room. Adapting on the fly. Spontaneous speaking isn't just about what you say, it's also about adjusting based on who you're talking to and how they're reacting. This is a section Abraham spends real time on. Watch for signals. If people look confused, that's your cue to simplify. If they look impatient, that's your cue to get to the point faster. If they lean in, you can go a little deeper. The best spontaneous speakers are constantly reading these small cues and adjusting in real time. Match your energy to the room. If you walk into a serious, high-stakes meeting with a light, joking tone, it can misfire badly. Similarly, being overly formal in a casual conversation can feel stiff. Abraham suggests taking a moment, even just 5 seconds, to gauge the room's energy before you start speaking. The power of checking. In a simple, underused tool is just asking, "Does that answer your question?" Or, "Would it help if I went deeper on any part of this?" This does two things. It shows confidence rather than anxiety, and it gives you real-time feedback on whether you're on the right track, instead of guessing. Adjusting length on the spot. One skill Abraham's highlights is being able to compress or expand your answer instantly. If someone looks like they want a quick answer, use one sentence. If they're clearly interested in more, expand using the what so what now what structure. Being rigid with a fixed length answer, regardless of the room, is a common mistake. Section 8, Speaking Under High Pressure. This section covers what to do when the stakes are especially high. A big client call, a tough negotiation, a hostile question, or being put on the spot in front of a large group. Slow down on purpose. Under pressure, most people speed up without realizing it, which makes them sound more nervous and increases the chance of tripping over words. Abraham's advice is to consciously slow your pace by about 10 to 15%. It feels unnatural at first, but to the listener, it sounds calm and in control. Anchor to one sentence. In extremely high-pressure moments, it helps to have one simple sentence ready that captures your core message. Something you can fall back on if your mind goes blank. For example, in a tough negotiation, our priority is a solution that works long-term for both sides. Even if you lose your train of thought, you can return to this anchor and rebuild from there. Handling hostile or aggressive questions. If someone asks a question in an aggressive or challenging tone, Abrahams recommends staying neutral rather than matching their energy. Acknowledge the concern first. "I understand why that's a concern," before responding with facts. This diffuses tension and keeps you looking composed, even if the other person doesn't. Give yourself permission to not be perfect under pressure. The final point in this section is a mindset one. In high-pressure moments, your goal isn't a flawless answer. It's a clear and honest one. Abrahams reminds us that people remember how composed you seemed far more than they remember your exact wording. Closing. So let's recap what we covered today. First, anxiety is normal. Don't fight it. Manage it. Reframe it. Shift your focus to others and use the breathing technique. Second, use structures like what so what now what, prep, and the rule of 3, so your thoughts sound organized even without preparation. Third, practice. Small daily habits turn spontaneous speaking into a natural skill, not something you're either born with or not. Next time someone suddenly asks you, "What do you think about this?" You'll know exactly what to do. If you found this video helpful, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments. Which situation makes spontaneous speaking hardest for you? We'll dive deeper into that in the next video. See you in the next one. Until then, keep practicing and keep speaking with confidence. End note. This script is based on my own summary interpretation of the concepts in Think Faster, Talk Smarter. No direct quotes have been taken from the book. When making the video, it's recommended to clearly credit the author and the book.